Hello, my name is Ed Schlager. We are taping today, June 22nd, 2012, from Professional Property Tax Appeals in Clinton Township, Michigan, about 8 miles outside of Detroit. Our meeting today is to explain to our friends overseas that own investment properties in the city of Detroit how they can realize savings, usually of 50% or more, on the property taxes they pay on those investment properties. Because the city of Detroit has the second highest millage rates in the United States, and given the huge drop in Detroit real estate values over the last several years, this can often amount to thousands of dollars saved. For thousands of past clients PPTA has successfully represented, this can be the difference between monthly negative cash flow and profitability. With us today is Mr. Harold Hoyt, the president and founder of Professional Property Tax Appeals. Mr. Hoyt, can you tell us a little bit about your company and how it can be a benefit to real estate investors in the city of Detroit?
Good afternoon. Thank you, Ed. I appreciate the introduction. My name is Harold Hoyt. The name of my company is Professional Property Tax Appeals Incorporated. That's exactly what we do. We appeal real property taxes in the entire state of Michigan. What I want to talk to you about today is specifically property taxes, as Mr. Schlager mentioned, in the city of Detroit. What we're going to discuss, our areas, overall areas of expertise are industrial, commercial, multifamily residential, residential properties, and above all, the behemoth known as the city of Detroit. What we're going to talk about today is some terminology that may be different or unusual to you folks. We're going to talk about the state equalized value, which the state equalized value has been in play since there's been real estate in the state of Michigan. There's been real estate traded in the state of Michigan. The taxable value. Taxable value is a new term that came into play. It's where your real estate taxes are based from. And that term didn't even exist until 1994. And we'll talk about Proposition A, which created that term, in just a minute. In the city of Detroit, a residential property tax appeal has 3 steps. The first step, which is basically a scheduling step, is the assessor's review. That's unique to the city of Detroit. The second step, the second phase or step, if you will, of a residential property tax appeal in the city of Detroit is it has to be submitted to the Board of Review. The Board of Review is kind of a governing process. They're basically a place to stake your claim and say, okay, this is where you have my house assessed, this is where it should be. Not a whole lot happens there for most people. Then there's the Michigan State Tax Tribunal. Michigan State Tax Tribunal is an administrative law body that adjudicates real property cases where the petitioner or the property owner has appealed to the state of Michigan for relief of their real estate taxes. Now we're going to talk about an item called stipulations. Stipulations we'll go into in great detail. They're beautiful tools. Then we're going to show you some examples of what we've done, what we've continued to do, and what we will continue to do in the city of Detroit until people are taxed equitably and actually at the fair market value of their property. Then at the end, if there's any questions, I'll try to provide the correct answers. Proposal A, commonly known as the Tax Revision Act of 1994. The people of the state of Michigan voted on an entire revision of the Michigan General Tax Act. Remember I told you about the term taxable value? That came into play via Proposal A. What Proposal A was designed to do was to give us taxpayers relief from our real estate taxes. Also enacted an additional 2% sales tax throughout the state of Michigan. This amendment to the state constitution was done by a popular vote of the people. It can only be changed by a popular vote of the people. And it limits taxable, there's that term again, taxable value, increases to 5% or the rate of inflation, whichever is less. This past year, the rate of inflation in the state of Michigan was calculated at 2.3%. So in essence, what this means is once providing you're successful and you have your property taxes reduced, they cannot increase into other than the rate of inflation of 5%. Again, this year's rate of inflation was 2.3%. Excuse me, they cannot increase until you sell that property. So once you get it reduced, it's kind of the gift that keeps on giving. State equalized value. It's really a simple process. If your property is worth, I'm going to use simple numbers here, if your property is worth $10,000, your state equalized value should be $5,000. It's 50% of the true cash value of the real estate that you own. How is your tax determined? Your tax is determined by the millage rate of the municipality where your property is located, multiplied times the state equalized value. I often ask this question, is why we put it in the slide. Doesn't the market determine the value? The market should determine the state equalized value. We find in a lot of cases throughout the different municipalities in the state of Michigan that market values got little relevance to the way we're taxed. It's especially true in the city of Detroit. We talked about the board of review. They're technically termed municipal review boards. The state assessing board has a set of guidelines for each municipality to follow to establish state equalized value. And basically what they are is, trying to find the words I'm looking for here. They do a mass appraisal approach. It would be virtually impossible for the municipality to individually appraise each single house. Again, in the city of Detroit, there's hundreds of thousands of them. So what they do is they put them together in groupings and use a mass appraisal technique. It's contrary to state law. Contrary to state law because the state statute says your property shall be assessed at its true cash value. Detroit millage rates is kind of a unique and different. They're one of the highest in the state of Michigan. For a homestead property, I realize most of the folks I'm speaking with today are not homesteaded. You're a non-resident or non-owner occupant. Homestead rates or millage rates are 60.677, and that's per $1,000 of state equalized value. Non-homestead, which all of my investor friends are assessed at 85.1106 mils per thousand. Consequently, if you just have a small reduction in your taxable value of your property, it can equate to thousands of dollars being saved over a period of time. Give you an idea, just an example of savings, just a $10,000 reduction at the non-owner occupied millage rate of 85.1106 would result in an $851.11 tax savings per year. Now let's just say that you keep that property for 10 years. I don't have to tell you how to do that math. Detroit is different. Detroit requires that each property or homeowner, and again we're talking about single-family residential investment properties in the city of Detroit today, apply to the Assessors Review Board in February. You have to do that just to have the right to go to the March Board of Review in March. Unless both of these requirements are met, the property owner cannot and will not be allowed to actually sue the municipality via the Michigan State Tax Tribunal. There's really only one thing, I'm a real estate investor as you are, there's really only one thing to consider when you own or buy a piece of investment real estate. It's your return on investment. One of the ways to increase the return on your investment is to decrease your expenses. As you know, rents these days are very difficult to increase. We're all trying to hold on to our tenants. And one of the ways typically the second biggest expense we as property owners have, other than perhaps if we have a mortgage, is our real estate taxes. What I'm going to show you today is virtually a foolproof way to reduce your property taxes. And again, it's all worth considering is return on investment. Taxable value in changing market conditions. Theoretically, the way Proposal A was written, the way it was intended, none of the people that wrote that law, nor any of the people that probably voted on it, saw the collapse of the real estate market that we experienced between mid-2007 through the end of 2008. So when the market declines, theoretically your state equalized value should follow. What we've found to be true in virtually every municipality, now some are good, some are actually, some of the suburban Detroit areas, they actually assess in accordance with their market conditions. We find most do not. They especially do not in the city of Detroit. So by law, your state equalized value should be reduced as your property value goes down. We find that most people, if you don't pursue this, it's just not going to happen automatically. I spoke with several hearing referees at the Michigan Tax Tribunal, and I asked them, why aren't more people successful with the property tax appeals? And they told me, it's too hard. People don't know what to do. There's forms that need to be filled out. There's evidence that needs to be presented. It's a process, and if you're not familiar with that process, it's very, very difficult. I'm making it sound like it's insurmountable, because it's certainly not, and we've become experts at that. I want to explain something to you with reference to, assuming that you've gone to the assessor's review in February, and you went to the border review in March, and didn't get the reductions that you were looking for and or entitled to proceed to the Michigan State Tax Tribunal, which again it's a judicial body, it's tax court. There is a state filing fee of $125. That goes directly to the state of Michigan for processing the paperwork, scheduling the docket, and what have you. That fee in 2010 was increased by 500% by our governor, former governor, I should say. And you think that might have been designed to deter people from appealing their property taxes? The other thing you'll need to present as evidence is a true cash value appraisal of the real estate that's being appealed. If we're able to secure a stipulation prior to going to court, which is an agreement between the assessor and ourselves, there's a $25 state stipulation fee. Again, it's another filing fee to the state of Michigan. The stipulation, again, is an agreement between the property owner and the assessor, or perhaps even the city attorney, regarding the adjustment that will be applied to the taxable or the state equalized value of the subject property. Stipulations are terrific. They save time, they save money, and they're easily attainable in certain areas. And I'll explain that a little more in just a few minutes. Why I'm in front of you is that you were referred by, I believe it was 2 different property management companies. One was Precise Associates. The other was, what's Ray Safadi's company name? Anyway, your property manager is Raymond Safadi. What we did, based on the recommendations of your property managers, is we went to the first 2 steps for you. We took your property to the assessor's review. We took your property to the March Board of Review. Now, if you want to proceed, what you need to do is contact us, and we'll give you some real easy information on how to do that. Probably the best way is to contact us via the website through ProTax. If you Google protaxappeals.com, that'll take you directly to our website. We're in a position where we've got a couple of things that really need to be talked about. One is the filing deadline for single-family residential properties, not only in the city of Detroit, but the entire state, is July 31st. We have to file with the state for July 31st, or you lose the possibility of a tax appeal for calendar year 2012. This appeal will affect your July tax bill. Take a little while, but you'll be getting, if you paid your taxes, you'll be getting a refund based on the actions you're about to take. You got a couple choices in this matter. You can do it yourself. In fact, I started to say it, I don't think I finished. 94% of the appeals that are filed by homeowners fail. It's just because it's a bureaucratic thing. They're not familiar with the process. How many magistrates have I talked to that said people came in with 0 evidence? You're going to court. You need to be absolutely prepared and ready to do what you're doing. It's kind of, you know what? It's a battle over your money. You can hire an attorney. There are several attorneys that are local in the area that do property tax appeals. We see a lot of their clientele come to us because we get it done. We don't wait for 2 or 3 years. We're very successful in getting these things completed quickly. You can have us help. Now what I want to do is explain what is involved with having us help you. Basically, we need an authorization letter. Again, that can be done online. The retention agreement is there for your approval. Once we have that, we can start the ball rolling. Actually, again, we've already started the ball rolling through the assessor's review and the board of review that took place in March. The fee for our services is $750. You need to keep in mind the other fees that you're going to need to pay are the $125 filing fee, an appraisal fee of $200, which is greatly reduced. To get a single family appraisal, if you're getting a mortgage, would be anywhere between $350 and $450. Because of the volume of appraisals that we do, our customers get preferential pricing from the appraisers that we refer. Okay, how do I go back to questions and answers?
We have multiple properties. What type of concessions can we expect?
I'm sorry, would you repeat that, sir?
We have multiple properties. What type of concessions on your fees could we expect?
Now I'm clear on that. We don't do that. We provide an incredibly good service. We're very good at what we do. We've set a fee structure that's extremely fair. And we have clients we represent that have 200 single-family homes in Detroit.
Can you do anything for my previous taxes that I overpaid?
Unfortunately, we don't have a time machine. I would love to be able to go back in time. When you file an appeal with the state of Michigan, it's for that tax year going forward. Unfortunately, I can't go back in time. Did that answer your question, sir?
Yes, yes. Another question. If I sell the property during this process or after the process, can I pass the savings to a buyer?
Absolutely. If we're in the appeal process, if we filed it and you transfer title to someone else, we can file a motion with the state of Michigan to add your purchaser as a party of interest. Then when we're successful with the appeal, you'll get the money refunded to you that you paid, as well as your new purchaser will get the title, the portion that they're entitled to. Did I answer that question?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
What if Detroit goes bankrupt?
You know, that's often been, unfortunately, that's one of the questions that I field probably more than any. We have a very similar situation in a northern city just a little bit, about 20 miles north of Detroit, called Pontiac, Michigan. That's been taken over by the state of Michigan. The county actually runs Pontiac's assessing department, so all the refunds are facilitated through the county of Oakland, which is where Pontiac is located. If, in fact, the city of Detroit goes bankrupt, which I certainly hope they don't, but it's a possibility, then Wayne County will take them over, just as Pontiac has been taken over by Oakland County. Yes, sir.
Mr. Hoyt, what kind of success rate have you had in the city of Detroit, and can you give us some examples?
Sure. Actually, I'm tickled to say out of the thousands of appeals that we filed in the city of Detroit, I've had one that wasn't successful. My success ratio is 99.99, don't know the decimal from there. I'm going to show you folks some examples of things we've done very, very recently in the city of Detroit with single-family investment properties. Does that answer your question, sir?
Yes.
Okay, let's see if we can show you some examples. Well, one of the things I'll tell you, once you sign on for this service, we'll file the complaint and you'll be issued a docket number. The state of Michigan, at the Michigan Tax Tribunal, actually has a website that you can go to. Once we're issued the docket number, we'll see to it that you get it, and you can track your case just as we do. What we're looking at here is, this is what we look to achieve. It's a proposed opinion and judgment. And we've taken out the people's names and the addresses just because, I guess you'd say to protect the innocent, but this is what happened to these folks. This is a hearing that we did on January 26, 2012. Sarah Musavi was the hearing referee from the state of Michigan at the Michigan Tax Tribunal. What happened is my client's true cash value went to $10,000 in 2010 to $8,000 in 2011 and $7,300 in 2012. Now, if you remember the multiples that I gave you about the 85.01186 mills that non-owner occupants pay in the city of Detroit, this is the number I want you to really pay attention to. This is the taxable value, which is 50% of the true cash value, $5,000, $4,000, $3,650. Now what I want you to see is this is what the city said. The city said the property in 2010 was worth $54,208, 2011 $47,704, in 2012 $43,488. This is what we look for when we get the proposed opinion and judgments back from the state of Michigan, where they've corrected the true cash value to what we've prescribed or stated that it was via our true cash value appraisals. What I want to, this is an example of what, this isn't the same example of what I just showed you, but this is a property on Liberal on the Upper East Side of the city of Detroit. In 2010, the original state equalized value was $24,369. So they were saying the house was worth $48,000 and change. We reduced that to we reduced it to $16,869 for 2010. In 2011, it was $20,957. We reduced it to $13,457. In a nutshell, these taxes were paid. My client was refunded $2,536.83 in taxes they overpaid. And here's the most important part. Their taxes before our appeal were $2,021. Their taxes going forward from 2012 on are $633.81. Can you imagine the increase in cash flow? And that alone is $1,400. There's another example on Kingsville in Detroit. Kingsville is kind of a unique street in the fact that it's the northernmost city of Detroit where it borders Harper Woods. Same scenario. Before our appeal on these taxes, the annual real estate taxes were $2,569.87. After the appeal, taxes were $929.59. You folks may recognize some of these streets. Greenview in Detroit, estimated refund of $5,810. Taxes before the appeal were $3,440. After we were finished, they were $823.96 going forward, again, until they sell the property. 4th Street in Detroit. For 2 years, we got an estimated refund of $8,707. More importantly, 4th Street, this is a commercial property, I believe.
Yes.
Yeah, this is a commercial property. I'm sorry, it probably shouldn't be here. But even so, even with the commercial installation in Detroit, taxes were $9,400. When we were finished, they were $4,500 and change. Boston, this property is on Edison in Detroit. Boston Edison used to be, the assessors kind of coined it as it used to be a real nice area. But they're real nice, bigger, larger homes than what's typical. Taxes before our appeal were $5,635. When we were finished, they're $1,690 going forward. And again, until you sell the property. Beaverland in Detroit, a real popular residential street. Before the appeal, the taxes were $3,300. When we were finished, they're $823. Appeline. In fact, I know you folks have got some houses on Appeline. Before the appeal, the taxes were $3,777. When we were finished, they were $1,267. I think you're beginning to catch on at the math and the dramatics of this. All it does is increase your cash flow. There's 2 methods by which we appeal property taxes in the city of Detroit. One is the conventional way, which I described to you with reference to the filing fee to the state of Michigan to get yourself a docket number. The second thing that you got to do is get an appraisal, then you actually go to trial, unless we're able to stipulate it with the assessor, which we've been very, very successful at doing. Or we can process it through the March Board of Review. Historically, Detroit is kind of a moving target. In fact, the gentleman asked me the question about the bankruptcy. It's not a prevalent factor now, but again, Detroit is a moving target fiscally, politically. What we've been able to do at the Board of Review level, and this will just give you an example. Again, we've taken out the names. Grayton is the street that this property was on. Before we took this property to the Board of Review this past March, the state equalized value, the assessed value, was $24,038, which means the house was valued at a $48,000 valuation. When we finished, we got this cut exactly 50%, which means that this property owner's taxes were reduced 50% for this upcoming July tax bill. And this one was on Hayden Street in Detroit, same scenario, $40,000 cut to $20,000. This property is on Vaughn. In fact, I know you folks have got some properties on Vaughn. Before the appeal, it was $37,000. We reduced it to $18,000. Again, 50% across the board. And we don't know if we're going to be able to successfully do this going forward. If, in fact, we can, we've always got the tax tribunal to fall back on and adjudicate each case individually. Property on Linwood, $32,800. We reduced it to $16,445. Property on Britton. Before the appeal, they were saying the house was worth $60,000, and the assessment was $30,000. Brought it down to $15,000, which means, again, just a 50% across the board reduction.
I see that the Board of Review could give us relief on our taxes, but the examples you showed us were 3 years of tax savings. Are we going to have to wait 3 years to get this taken care of?
Actually, no, I'm really glad you asked that question. Up until about a year ago, for a small claims case, which all single-family residential, whether it's owner-occupied or non-owner-occupied, is in the small claims division, was taking upwards of 3 years to get in front of a magistrate or a hearing referee. One of the examples that I showed you, you saw where there were multiple years involved. The tax tribunal, with our new political system in Lansing, which is the capital of the state of Michigan, they've expedited that to an extent now that I can virtually tell you that if we file your appeal for you by the end of July, you will be going to court in 2012. Early part of 2013 at the outset, because there may be some holiday time that the tribunal won't be actually functioning. So what's happened is it's gone from a 3-year process to a same calendar year process, which means you get your adjudication done absolutely quickly in comparison to what it used to be, and get relief as soon as you possibly can. The other thing that I want to mention it again in case I missed it, is if we file your appeal for you in July, it will affect your July tax bill. Those refunds that I showed you, you'll be getting one. Is there any other questions? Did I answer your question, sir?
Yeah.
Is there any other questions?
Once you initiate an appeal, what is expected on our end? What do we need to do?
As a property owner?
Yes.
Absolutely nothing. Again, to go back through what well, I shouldn't say absolutely nothing, but your property manager probably will take care of this for you. We need you to sign up and sign a retention agreement, which you can do online. Again, protaxappeals.com, just click on the icon. The second thing is there's a filing fee to the state of Michigan. It's $125. We'll need to order a true cash value appraisal. We'll probably schedule that appraisal via your property manager to get in and make it as convenient for your tenant as possible. Other than that, there's zero involvement for the property owner. We take care of it from start to refund. Is there any other questions? Did I answer your question, sir?
Yes.
Thank you. If there aren't any other questions, folks, I'm going to tell you, if you've got questions, sign in on the website. In fact, my email address is Harold, Harold, at protaxappeals.com. If you have questions about how this process works, you can either contact us via the website, you can contact me via email, contact me. Believe me when I tell you, we've gotten to, and don't wait, we are incredibly busy. We filed in excess of 2,500 petitions this year. The filing deadline is July 31st. In order to make this work, you need to contact us as soon as possible. As far as vehicles of payment, we've made it extremely easy and very, very secure. Once you go onto our way, once you determine you want to do this, and believe me when I tell you, anybody we submitted to the assessor's review and to the board of review should be filing a tax appeal. It's your money. It's your choice. Go to the website. You can pay via PayPal, which is the most secure credit card transition company we could find. In fact, it's so secure, we don't even get your credit card data. We don't want it. I don't want to have any issues with identity crisis. But I implore you, look at this. It works. There's a reason your property managers referred you to us. We're very successful at what we do. And if you think about it from a property manager's perspective, if you increase your cash flow $1,200, $1,500, $2,000, $3,000 a year, it makes their life a lot simpler. Because you've got more income coming. It lets them do their job that much better. Thank you very much for your time, and I look forward to hearing from you soon.